Phillip. So in this video, we're going to discuss Frank Berrios' book, Trouble With Tribbles, which is a little golden book adaptation of the Star Trek episode, The Trouble With Tribbles. I did a video about The Trouble With Tribbles. You should be seeing a card for it up above. And my sister and I talked about it, Molly, and I talked about it. She then sent me this for the holidays. So, yeah. It's a little golden book. So if you know what that means, if you are familiar with little golden books, you know it's very much a young children's book. It's an interesting option to sort of adapt Star Trek episodes as books for young children, because some of the things in them are going to make for weird reading. Like on the first page here, it says Captain's Log, Stardate 4523.3. Captain Kirk and the crew of the USS Enterprise have received an urgent call from Deep Space Station K7. Could it be a Klingon attack? Now, if you're a parent who's reading that to your kid, that's fine. You're fine with that. You should be fine with that. If you're a kid and you're trying to sound out the word Klingon, and you don't already know Star Trek, that's going to be a hard one. That's going to be a hard one to try and figure out what that is, what that means. That being said, that's about all the text you get on any given page. It's a little golden book. It's a children's book. So, I mean, you get short bits. It's mostly illustrated. And again, if you are familiar with the Star Trek episode, like you can tell this is Kirk, that's Spock, that's Cyrano Jones, that's Uhura. Yeah, you can follow all of this. We don't get the name Cyrano Jones in here, interestingly enough, even though Cyrano Jones is one of those sort of charming space rogues that we get in the series itself. But the story of the episode is told on a very simplistic level. It's easy to follow, but there's not necessarily a massive amount of content. There are a couple of things that I do find sort of striking and interesting. One is actually on this first page, where the captain's log starts with Captain Kirk and the crew of the USS Enterprise. Because if you know anything about the captain's log, it is Kirk speaking. He is logging his thoughts. So it's weird that he is here referring to himself in the third person. Now, we can sort of ignore that, because it's a children's book, but it is a weird thing nonetheless. Then we've got this bit with the Klingons, where the Klingons are actually introduced. Strikingly enough, there are episodes in the original series in which the Klingons are presented as very swarthy, very dark-skinned, racially problematic, obviously, but I believe in The Trouble With Tribbles, the actors are all white, and they're not particularly dark or swarthy. They don't have pointed ears, anything like that. So, these depictions have chosen the swarthy Klingons rather than the Klingons actually depicted in this particular episode. But then the way it narrates the fight is an interesting one. The Klingons are allowed to board the space station, but can they be trusted? Not even furry little tribbles like Klingons. Although the Klingons say they come in peace, a fight breaks out. No one insults the Enterprise in front of Scotty. That's very much shifting the blame for starting the fight onto the Klingons, when it is, in fact, Scotty who throws the first punch, after having explicitly been told by Captain Kirk that he needs to make sure no one starts trouble. All I'm saying is it's somewhat striking that the dark-skinned, swarthy Klingons get the blame for starting a fight, even though in the episode, yes, they are provocative, but it is in fact Scotty who throws the first punch. That's all I'm saying.